Hi there, and welcome to my first episode of Ask Vatsala Anything. And this is going to be a special edition for WiEN members to, share my insights, some of my advocacy work, and of course, last but not least, being a peer support for you fellow women here. All right, so you can get connected to me if you feel like talking to someone, and if I'm unable to help you, I will get you connected to those resources that is available so you can seek the help that you need. All right, so a little bit about me. My name is Vatsala, and I am the CEO of Mom's Village Venture. It's a social enterprise that brings in a community that enables women to be financially independent in an interdependent ecosystem. Right? So, as the name says, it's about empowerment, it's about advocacy, it's about community building. So, that's what we do in Mom's Village. Right. But beyond that, I am a peer support advocate. I help women rebuild their life through crisis, all right? And I aim to give the liberty to women, allow them to take the decision whether they want to survive, live, or leave an abusive relationship. All right, so that is on my advocacy part of it. And of course, I also preach financial independence for women. I want to enable women. I want to facilitate their journey so that they're able to earn at least 10 ringgit per day for themselves, to buy for them, buy themselves a meal, or sanitary pad, or it's a basic need for them, right? Of course, last but not least, to fund their dreams. All right. So that is just a simple thing about me. Okay, all right, so today's going to be the first episode, and it will be more of like a Syok Sendiri kind of questions, because basically it's just breaking the ice, so you get to know me and I get to know you. And if you have any other questions, you can just leave me below before proceeding to our next episode, which will be more focused on certain topics. All right, are we good? Cool. Right. So on my first episode, I would like to thank some of you who actually asked me questions, and probably some of you don't know what questions to ask me. And I see, my role here as, more like a dear Thelma person, that, you used to see people writing to this segment, right? So I can be that person that you can write in anonymously to me, and I can unbox your story anonymously, including some of the things, resources, suggestions that you can utilize to make informed decisions. All right. Now, coming back to the first question, and this question was by Vimala. Vimala asked me, what would I have been doing if I've not been an entrepreneur or an advocate or an activist? All right. I mean, typical question. So if I've not been this two, I would have been just remaining a trophy wife. I would have been a homemaker to my children, and someone who probably just tried to balance my role at home, and probably I wouldn't have found my purpose of life. So yes, the journey towards advocacy and doing things that actually gives me the purpose, the reason of being, waking up in the morning, is definitely liberating. It is, it gives me so much of joy, even through the days that I feel drained. All right, so I think it's important for all of us to at least find a purpose of life, and it's just not too late. I probably found mine around, when I was like 33 years old, so like 33 years old. All right, that was literally 3 or 4 years back, right? So yes, and the next question is by Rekha. So Rekha asked me, what makes you do what you do? It is an exhausting physical journey, mentally draining, and can't imagine the things that you go through. Do you feel frustrated when someone asks your help and you offer them, yet they don't implement anything you say, but come up with excuses for it? Cool, right. So Rekha, this answer is for you. What makes me to do what I do? Because this is my purpose of life. Being self-aware that this is what I want to do is part of the journey, and waking up to it is definitely gives me it's like a fuel that keeps you going. Rather than just waking up and doing something routinely, I look forward to wake up to every day because I know that I have a purpose to live by. So that is why I do what I do. All right. And like I said, I have been torn between whether I'm going to be an advocate or I want to be an entrepreneur. So what I did was I thought that if I were to decide to make my social impact to sustain itself, I need to have a business model with it. So that is why I'm a social entrepreneur, and that is a path I willingly, very informed. It was a very informed decision that I'm going to do this by being a social entrepreneur, and I'm really passionate about it, and I wish to create more people joining this journey of social entrepreneurship, because that means we have more change makers, sustainable change makers in our community, right? Cool. Another thing that you asked me is it frustrating? Right. When I started earlier, yes, it was, because I was not a professional. I was just doing this because it gives me, like that high thing. Every time people comes and tell you some success stories, it just feels high. It's like you taking drugs, right? So whenever they come and tell me they have done something, I feel accomplished. But when I watch some of them who are not doing anything about it, I used to feel very disappointed, right? But it took me some time. I think it comes along with maturity. It comes along with lots of pain, all right? It comes along with a lot of lessons, and I did realize that my role is not to make them change. My role is to enable them, to facilitate their journey. So what I do is that I ensure the resources are available around them. I bring them into a journey with me. So I write a lot of stories, a very, very Malaysian way of writing. Sometimes I do some short videos. I put in quotes. Every morning is like, it's the goal setting in the morning, and then I take them into a journey. Like later on, I'll just write some inspiring stories for them. So I keep this, I would call the beneficiaries like with a journey with me. I know they are not taking any step for themselves, but I don't want to deprive them of the resources available for them. So what I do is I keep doing what I'm doing. When they are ready, they will be definitely taking the step. So I give them the decision. I allow them to take that decision. I give them that empowerment so that they are able to take that informed decision later on. All right. So it is not my role to, hold their hands and, bring them out. I used to do that earlier days, but then I think along the way I learned my lesson. So I do it without expectation. All right. So yeah. All right, so the next question is by Ms. Sangeeta Sivasangu. All right, she has said that I have always wanted to help people overcome their depression and help them in any ways possible. Amazing, you keep being that person, okay? All right, then I met you through this group, and I'm really inspired by what you do to help people. I don't have a degree in psychology or counseling, so my question is, how can I help these people in need? Will I be in risk if I help them from any legal issues or from the abusive partner's example? Thank you in advance. All right, thank you, Sangeeta, for asking me such an important question. Okay, first of all, allow me to, I need to thank you for having that empathy, compassion, that you want to help those who are in need of help. And I think that's an amazing quality that we need in our community today. All right. Now, you asked me how can you help them because you don't have a degree in psychology or counseling. Now, I think the intention matters, and the fact that you are able to empathize is also great. When I started my journey, it was just a random, just listening to people because I crave to listen to their problem because I want to solve it. All right. So I did not have any degree in or I had a degree in biomedicine, but it was not counseling or anything in particular. So I don't have a degree. So what happened along the way was, as I were listening to more stories, I became a little bit more, emotionally distressed, due to, sometimes certain stories definitely drains you emotionally and mentally. So what I did was I actually went for a basic lay counseling course. All right, and going through that course allowed me, taught me how to ground myself, allowed me to ground myself while I listen to those who are actually seeking out for help, right? And of course, that was the first step. Second step is, I think, being yourself, just being that person who is willing to listen without being judgmental, empathizing, and unbiased. I think that is the most important quality that a lot of us look for. And of course, the vulnerability, just connecting as a human. Then a lot of them will definitely get connected to you. All right. So yes, you don't have to have this degree, but if you want to have a little bit more information about how to ground yourself, then a basic lay counseling would definitely help. And of course, going further into, maybe a social worker's course or something like that will actually give you a better view about this industry, social work, social activism, and so on. All right. However, as for depression, it's a clinical condition whereby even when people that my beneficiaries approach me, I do not give them counseling. My role, I'm very clear about my role. I assist them, as in I sort of like, brainwash them. Okay, not brainwash them. For me to my role is to convince them to seek all the resources available. All right. So for some of them who are not under depression, sometimes they just want someone to talk to, and most of the time they don't even want to have advice. They just want to have someone who listen to them unbiased, unjudgmental, and that's it. Once they have poured out whatever's in their heart, they are like, okay, I'm back to normal again. Okay, so if you're unable to do that, you can also give them the numbers that they can call into, like Befrienders. Yeah, I'll just put the number here. Befrienders, Women Aid Organization, WCC, Awam, Sneham. Some of these organizations actually do offer counseling services for them. All right, so I was very clear that my role is to convince them to call these agencies. All right, and of course, and some of them do ask for paid services, so I also refer them to some of my friends or my fellow comrades who are giving counseling specifically for people who needs them. All right. And your second question, will I be at risk from any legal issues from abusive partners? Right, okay. So I did ask this question in one of the workshops I attended, and yes, ideally they say it's much better if you're attached to any organization, all right, such as, like, there's so many women's rights organizations which usually they will train you even how to deal with all this attacks. All right. However, when I was embarking into this, I did not know that this whole social activism came along with a lot of other things that I did not see. However, along the way, I learned to adapt. So because I deal with women who are abused, their husbands do stalk me. All right, they do stalk me in my Facebook. They do stalk me. Sometimes they send me messages on my messenger. They stalk my business pages. All right, and it is scary. It is scary. However, I am not intimidated. All right, most of them feel like their wife has taken the step because of me. Actually, it's not because of me. It is because of being in the constant abuse, power of control cycle, and these women just wanted liberation. All right, so when that happens, and if I'm feeling a little bit more I feel like my safety is being compromised, I'll just go and make a police report. All right, so yes, this this industry, this sector, the social activism sector, do come along with its own pain points, which we will learn to deal with along the way. And especially to the beneficiaries who actually get connected to me. You know, I usually get them to call in the relevant resources. I get them to delete the conversation once we have done it, or if they're going to save my number, I tell them to save it under you know, a different name, so that both of us are safe. All right. And if they're going to connect to me again, I get them to tell like a password nowadays. Yeah. So I take the adequate steps to ensure that my safety is safeguarded as well. All right. So, but beyond that, things can happen, and I just have to be careful around it. But you know, sometimes a lot of them ask me, you know, it's such a, it's not a very safe journey, but I have decided that I'm going to do this. So whatever that comes along will have to be, you know, I have to find a way to deal with it anyway. All right. So like I said, if you're willing, if you're really wanting to help this kind of women, I mean, some of us want to help abused women, some of us want to help refugees or homeless people or whoever. If you know who your beneficiaries are, then you can get connected to those NGOs that are, you know, doing whatever that they're doing very successfully. All right, that will allow you to at least get some experience. How does it feel like to be doing whatever that you're doing? All right, so I hope that whatever that you have asked me has been addressed, and if you have any more questions, please do not hesitate to ask me. I will definitely answer if it's within my jurisdiction. Even if I don't know, I will probably get an expert that knows to answer those questions for you. All right? So till we meet again in our next episode, which will be covering a little bit about domestic violence. Domestic violence is something I'm really passionate about. You know, like, who is passionate about domestic violence, right, in this world? But today I am passionate about domestic violence because I want to totally eradicate domestic violence in our neighborhood. All right, so yeah, that's my vision. So let's see how I'm going to do that, and definitely with all your help here, I can definitely make a change. So let's do this change together as a community. All right, so together we grow. All right, and thank you once again for watching. Until we meet again in our next episode, signing off, Vatsala, and do not fear to call, you know, just PM me or just message me, or even you can just message, you know, the moderators and admins here, yeah, that you can get connected to me if you need someone to talk to, or, you know, anything along the line. All right, till we meet again. Bye. Vatsala.